Story time about how I caught my grandma with my dad. So a little background information, I was 16, and it was the first day of 11th grade. Well, my friend wanted me to come to the mall with her after school that day. She was like, screw your grandma's birthday, just come to the mall with me. So the plan was I would sneak onto my best friend's bus after school and skip my grandma's birthday. By the way, my grandma was low-key a hoe. Like, half of her kids won't even bring their husbands around her, because after she got their numbers, she would end up sending nude pictures to them. Anyway, so the end of the day rolls around and I go to my locker to get my book bag when I'm called down to the office. So I go down to the office and my mom is there to pick me up because she said that we needed to do a few things before our grandma's party. Well, my grandma was at our house getting ready and my mom forgot her wallet at home, so when we went back home, I went to go put my book bag in the house. When I walk in and I see my grandma and dad on the couch, and I'm not even going to say what they were doing, and my mom is walking past them like she didn't see anything. So after that, I called one of my aunts and asked if I could stay with her for a while, and now I don't talk to any of them.
So has McDonald's been serving human meat?
What?
Personally, I don't want to believe this because I've had a lot of McDonald's, but you know. So after human meat was
yesterday.
supposedly found in a factory in Oklahoma, a actually new, more recent claim has come out that they are serving us human meat. Now, this audio clip has been removed from basically every site, but I did find a script from this supposed interview that happened. So apparently this whistleblower says, well, we've got a great brainwashing job on them over the centuries. Blah, blah, blah. They believe anything we tell them, and you know, if I mean unintelligible, we have a lot of fun around Passover when we steal their children.
Huh?
I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just in this country. I'm not going to read the next part, it gets bad. Basically, he said that they steal children and put them in the McDonald's.
So that's where the kids' meals be coming from?
I'm going to have to continue this one on part 3, but it has been confirmed that human and rat DNA have been found in McDonald's.
No more kids' meal. Here's another toxic best friend story time. Okay, my best friend at the time, which we're calling Emily, had set me up in a fight. Okay, so summertime of 2015, there were new girls that moved into our neighborhood. They were sisters. One of the sisters was a little weird, but she was an innocent girl, which we're calling Daisy. My friend Emily, from the start of meeting her, did not like Daisy at all. And that's how Emily was. She never really liked people or any new friends to our friend group. One day, out of nowhere, she hangs out with Daisy, which was kind of strange because she always told me she didn't like her. I ignored it. The next day, she hangs out with me and tells me that Daisy was talking crap about me. When Emily told me, I brushed it off. But then she told me if I didn't confront her, I'd look weak and a punk. So me wanting to prove that I wasn't weak, I confronted Daisy. Guys, we fought, and guess what? Daisy never talked crap about me. Emily manipulative self planned it all out, and let me tell you exactly how she played. Part 2 of my toxic best friend story time. Okay, so this might sound all confusing, but try and keep up with me, okay? So after the whole fight had happened, part of me just felt dumb because I didn't know what actually happened. And I didn't know exactly what was said. So almost 2 weeks went by and I saw Daisy outside. And one day, I just went up and just straight up asked Daisy, what exactly did she say to me about Emily? She said the day her and Emily was hanging out, Emily was talking to her about our problems that we were having in our friendship. Daisy then said that Emily said to her, don't Ayana just annoy you? And she said she guessed so. But overall, Emily was just basically fishing for Daisy to say something bad about me. When in reality, Daisy wasn't paying me no mind. I then go to Emily and told her what Daisy had told me. She laughs, and I'm just sitting here all confused. You're not going to even believe what she told me. She says, I was bored and the block was dry, and that it was just a joke. At the time, I don't know why I let it slide, but now that I think of it, that's crazy how she was able to play with my emotions like a toy. And that's not a friend.
Story time about the guy who was obsessed with me. We're gonna call him Ryan. Well, Ryan had a crush on me for a long time. And one night, one of our friends asked me to go to a party with them. And Ryan was gonna be the DD. And everything was good. We were all having a great time at the party. Well, Ryan and I went off to one of the bathrooms. And we started making out. And while we're making out, he goes, I really want to fuck you, but I can't. And I'm just like, why? And he said it was because he couldn't get it up. And obviously he was embarrassed about it, which is understandable. So I left the bathroom and didn't plan on telling anybody about it. Until I walk over to a group of my guy friends. And they're telling me that apparently Ryan told everybody that we fucked. So at that point, I didn't give a fuck and I told them what actually happened. AKA that he couldn't get hard. And apparently he was mad at me after that, but I had no idea. So he said, do you still want me to take you home? So I said, yeah. And now that he drove me home, he knew where I lived. And then I got a text from one of his friends, like for part 2.
This is why you should be careful what you put in the mail. In 2015, a man was asked by his neighbor to collect his mail while he was gone for a few weeks. A few days later, a large package arrives on his neighbor's front porch. The man can barely lift it, but gets over to his garage where he accidentally drops it and hears something break inside. Hoping his neighbor would think the damage occurred en route, he closes his squeaky garage door and forgets about it. But over the next couple of days, whatever was in that package started to smell so bad that he decides to open it up. Inside were two very important finds: his neighbor, who was dead, and a camera that was still recording. The police bring the man in for questioning and show him what was on the camera inside the box. It starts with his neighbor talking to the camera about how excited he is to mail himself home for his YouTube channel. Then, police fast forward to the very end where they see that the neighbor is now sleeping in the box, and then suddenly gets dropped and you hear a crack, and that's his neck breaking. And then you hear a squeaky garage door close.
Scary Story Sent by You, Episode 1, Part 2. One day my boss at the yard called me in to talk to me about leaving the lights on. You see, the bus yard had these huge lights that illuminated the entire yard that cost a lot of money to keep on. I thought I had turned them off, but I apologized and told him it wouldn't happen again. A few days later it happened again. He called me in and I told him I swore I turned them off. The next day I got to the yard to clean a bus. I finished cleaning at around 3 a.m., but I was scheduled to clean another one that had not yet arrived. I turned off the lights and I left to go get some fast food while I waited for the bus. When I returned, the lights were on. At first I thought this meant the bus was back, but it wasn't. It was still gone. I looked around the locked yard and I didn't see anyone. I checked the cameras and watched the post where the only light switch for the lights was at. The light turned on by itself with absolutely no one around. I told my boss about the incident and showed him the video. He was confused like me, but believed me that it wasn't my fault.
Okay, so this is part 3 of how I got robbed home alone, and sorry about the wait. Okay, so you remember how I told you guys how I opened up my door for the same guys that were in my room, which was a big mistake. They tried to force themselves in my house. Luckily, I had the door cracked a little bit, but it was like I should never had the door open. But I didn't know that they was coming to my house. Like if you're gonna rob something, don't come back. So I'm going back and forth trying to push the door so they don't get in. And they stronger than me. But somehow, I don't even know how I did it. Either they gave up or I just got real strong like Superwoman and closed the door. And all I hear from outside is somebody saying, "Hey, yo, my stuff is in there." They was trying to threaten to get inside. Like, no, boo-boo. And from there, I called the ops. If you want to know what happened after that or have any questions, comment down below for part 4. I'm sorry, guys. This part 4 was long overdue. I'm so sorry. Also, this is the lip gloss that I'm using. Innocent plug. Okay, so after I had called the cops, I then called my parents. My whole family came up. The last person that came was my brother, who was supposed to be in the house. Once they came, the cops, they took fingerprints, did all of that. And from there on, they found the guys that was in my room because they were like friends, mingled. They was with my next door neighbors, and they was buddies. So they knew who they were. They found out who they were. And like for the next couple months, I was receiving a check. Period. No, but honestly now I really am traumatized to be in my own house every single day by myself. And that's the honest truth.